of all, just want to thank. We had a great crowd, man, a great crowd today, and I'm not sure. I think it was maybe I was a little surprised with the three p.m. tip. You never know what it's going to look like, but man, I just want to thank Buckeye Nation for coming out because it was and an odd timing of a game against an opponent they're not familiar with. Just a really excellent crowd, and thank you guys for coming out and supporting this team here. Um, Give Alabama A&M credit. I thought they really, I was really concerned about their ability to attack their guards. I had watched them tie the game in the second half late against Illinois and watched them really take Vandy to the wire. And so I thought our guys did some really good things and some things we got to get better with.
Chris, do you think in the first half your team did a good enough job getting back on defense since the team that you're the Ken Pop metrics
No.
like that they love to run, go back and forth.
Yeah.
And there was a stretch there where they did get a few quick rebounds and kind of get down before he got set. How do you think they did with that?
Not good, and that's on me and on them. That's moving up the list of areas that we just have to get better in. We're just not there yet with our transition defense. And some of that's a byproduct of having new guys, young guys. They don't understand the pace you have to run with, but there's too many times where we're too off of makes and misses. We're just too casual in transition.
Then with Isaac today, I think he played 12, 13 minutes. Was the plan to get him 12, 13-ish minutes, or was it a situation towards the end of the first half where you said, at this stage of the game, I need him now?
We really needed another perimeter defender and another perimeter ball handler, really. And I didn't want to play Bruce 35 minutes again, but more than anything is I thought he could impact this game. And I think he did right away. That's why he played. I really thought he could impact this game. And I thought he did a good job with it. Really good job. Was really, really proud of Isaac because he's not ready to play, 20, 25 minutes. He's just not. But he can provide, who he is really important, I think, for us to grow as a team.
Getting him back after some tough personal stuff. What did that provide any sort of boost to this team to just have him back? And the guys wanted to be captain.
Yeah, I think he and Gene, Adam. I think both were our team. I think we're really happy for he and Gene to be back. Now the challenge is, and I'm going to need patience from our team because we can't play 11 guys. So I think we're going to need to figure that out because that's you just can't play 11 guys. So
what did you see as being the challenge to putting them away? They had a 2-point lead a minute
Yeah.
ago, and then you guys had offense seemed to start clicking from that point. But what did it take to finally put them in arm's length and pull away?
Well, I thought they hit some. They got us in transition, Adam. Their guards played downhill, and Ten's a really good offensive player. He can really make shots. Their big kid's an effective player. Zed did a good job getting him in foul trouble. I just think, I did not expect this to be a game where we were going to be up 20 at half. I kind of knew that they have the ability to keep this thing really close, but I thought our shot selection in the first half hurt us too, Adam. But again, I'm putting it all on us to give them credit too. I thought they did some good things.
So as you go into the Big Ten, 3 and 8 days, what's better than you thought it would be at this point, and what is atop your list of concerns?
Oh, I think there's several things that I think are maybe better than and I talked about that maybe a couple of days ago, Bruce. I think our offensive efficiencies have been really just our offense in general has really come along. It was clunky today in the first half, but it's really, really been effective, and the numbers all back that up. It's become an elite offensive efficiency team like we have had the last couple years. I think the biggest concerns are really our transition defense, our rebounding, and Bruce, can our defense with some of these guys individually and collectively, can it improve? Because we just we have struggled to get stops when we needed to get stops consistently. And I think that's where we got to keep getting better.
That's not a great trait when you have two of your first three in the row.
Yeah.
The other one's the number one team in the country.
Yeah, no doubt. No, and they're very good teams. Northwestern, it's the best Northwestern team that we've seen in our, 5 years. I really believe that. And it's a credit to Chris and his staff because they lost two very good players, both of which we played. But it's the best Northwestern team. And their numbers, I think, in a lot of ways would confirm that. At least certainly their defensive numbers. Having Audige backs has really helped them. But and you look at their wins, not just the Michigan State win on the road. That in and of itself is impressive. But they have some other, and they played Auburn to a 1-point game, or was it overtime maybe? It's a very good Northwestern team. Beyond that, I'm not going to look beyond that right now.
You didn't mention scoring in terms of who is scoring as one of your concerns. And it feels to me like Bryce is your most proven scorer so far. Justice has had some ups and had some downs. Do you feel like you have enough guys? The viewpoint from your players has always been everybody can score, no matter what night, somebody will.
Yeah.
And I just think
Every
conference you'd rather have it like more. It feels to me like you'd rather have it more ordered than it is.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think we have multiple guys that can get double figures for. Sean didn't shoot it well tonight, but he's more than capable of getting 10 to 12 on a given night. Zed is going to be a double guy for us consistently. He had a couple that free throws and a couple that went through his hands tonight, but that's not at the list of my top of my concerns. Now, listen, we're going against elite defenses, so is that going to be a concern going into this next game? Because I think they're a top 5 defense in the country. Yeah.
We talk a lot about some of the new guys, but like as you go into the week play here and getting consistent stuff, you mentioned Zed, and we talk about Justice a little bit, but like the veterans that you do have on this team, what do you feel about the level of contribution you're getting from the guys who've been through some of these battles as you get ready to take a step forward now in competition?
Good, but I think we need more, Adam. I think we need more. We don't have a lot of them that have been with us through this Big Ten season. I was talking to Coach Bruce Weber, and he was just talking about the Big 12 and the Big 10. And, the one thing he said was that, they play 18 games. So there's 2 less games of that kind of grind that you go through. But I say that because obviously Sean and Ice both played in the Big 12, but it's unlike anything really in a lot of ways I've ever been through. I think unless you've kind of gone through it, you don't really totally understand it. The Big East was a grind, but it was just different in a lot of ways. So I think we've had good stuff from those guys, but I'm constantly challenging them for more. And that's primarily right now our Zed and Justice, because they kind of been our healthiest, kind of our captains here.
With Justice, it seemed like today they really went at him when he was running the point and tried to force him to turn over, and he did a couple of times. He's had some of those moments this season.
Yep.
He's also been a guy you've leaned on at times, and he's won you a couple of games.
Yep.
For a guy that had all the question marks that he did coming into the season, is he where you thought he would be? How confident are you?
A little ahead. Yeah, a little ahead. I think his performance, I know he probably wouldn't say it, but it's probably been even better through this stretch of the season than I anticipated, just because he had been off for 16 months. It's been better than I thought.
And with Ice being back, obviously that will take some of the load off of Bruce running the point. Do you still look to Justice to maybe fill some of that role moving forward? Just albeit less than the last couple of games.
Yeah, for sure. I think he'll definitely still play some heavy point guard minutes for sure. Tonight we just kind of against their pressure, we needed another point guard. That's what Isaac is, and I thought he did a good job with it for sure. But Bruce's load's still going to be heavy now. Yeah, that's not going to change.
Yeah.
We'll finish up with 2 on Zoom.
We'll go Stephen
2 on
Kishbaugh
Zoom.
first, and then Steve Hellwagon. So Stephen Kishbaugh and Steve Hellwagon will finish up with those 2.
Hey, coach. You guys, obviously, you said that they were a tough team and you were expecting something competitive. With the 3-point lead at halftime, what did you tell your guys in the locker room? Just like what they needed to do in order to, have the second half that they did.
Yeah, it was a lot of just adjustment stuff, a lot of X and O stuff. I think people who maybe haven't, and I'm not saying it's a good question, people who haven't been in kind of those situations and in the arena and then halftime, like, much is made of, there are times when you have to challenge your guys, and I've certainly had to do that. But I think that this was more about some X and O adjustments, as well as some things we need. I thought the ball needed to move more. That was primarily what it was. And I didn't love our shot selection offensively.
And I'm sorry if you've already been asked this, but with Bryce leading the team in scoring, how has his development kind of surprised you in a way? And, is him being the leading scorer something you expect moving forward?
I don't ever give one. I appreciate your question about Bryce and him being a leading scorer. I don't ever give 1 second of thought to preference on who our leading scorer is. It's never one concern whatsoever. If it's him, great. If it's Ed, great. If it's Justice, fine. If it's Sean or Tanner or Bruce one night, so be it. I don't ever give it one thought, nor will I. I could not care less who our leading scorer is at the end of the year. So I think he's done some really good things. He's got to keep improving in those areas that are going to make him a complete player. People get really enamored with his offense because he's just so gifted, and I'm really proud of how efficient he's been. But he's got to keep improving in the areas in order to be the kind of player he wants to be.
All right, we'll finish up with Steve Hellwagon.
Yep. Thanks, guys, for looping us in. I really appreciate it. You guys really did a good job of covering most of the angles. The only thing I was going to ask about is Northwestern, specifically veteran backcourt and veteran wings, and starting over inside a little bit with those transfers. But even when they've had teams that haven't been the greatest, it's always been a very difficult place for any visiting team to go in there and try and win. Just for them to have one of their better teams, as you said, I mean, this has got to be something you guys are aware of from
No
the
doubt.
start. Just where
they got you, Steve? Show these guys here.
Well, these hotel rooms anymore, they don't have it. The light is and the sun's going down behind me, so the backlighting would be. It looks like I'm in a closet somewhere.
Yeah, they got you in a closet somewhere, Steve.
Yeah, I've actually been using the light, the desk light here to even put some light on me, but.
All right.
It's crazy,
Okay.
but yeah,
all right. It should be sunny in Atlanta. Make sure you see the sunlight. Don't stay in the closet the whole time.
I know.
Hey,
all work makes you a dull boy, but go ahead. Yeah.
That's right. Steve, it's a good question, because when you look back, it's funny. I was thinking about the Northwestern team, or one of Coach Mata's really elite teams. I think struggled there one year. Maybe I can't remember. They might have been undefeated or something. So your point is well taken. And again, I really do believe this is, at least right now, it's the best team I've seen. We've played good Northwestern teams, but this is the best Northwestern team we've seen in our 5+ years. So I think it's going to be a great challenge. I really do. I think it's going to be a great challenge. They've had a great non-conference. They've had a great start to the conference play. When you have an elite road win like they do, they've got really good players. They've got good depth. Their guard play is exceptional, and they've really bought into, I think, Chris and the staff's defensive mindset. And they also have excellent defensive pieces, and they can score the ball enough. So that is going to be completely our focus these next 2 days. We know it's going to be a great challenge. I know, listen, we're going to need to play really well. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Yep.